All right, talk to me about Hybrid TV. You're the CEO of this company. Tell me what that is.
Yeah, so hybrid TV is just kind of a platform for cannabis and in all walks of cannabis, not just, obviously I think we've come a long way in the cannabis space, but it's not just, the old Cheech and Chong narrative of getting high every day. It's, cannabis is used in so many different forms in cooking, in health, in fitness, in fashion. So we just wanted to provide or create an opportunity for people to come and display their content on our platform with no red flags or yellow tape. So we're in the process of fine tuning the final tweaks of it, and hopefully we'll be launching the platform soon. So I just kind of call it like a Netflix for cannabis people. And again, it won't just be cannabis only. It'll be music. It'll be sports. It'll be culture. It'll be fashion. It'll be cooking. It'll be exercise. It'll be so many different verticals within the cannabis space. So I'm really excited about this project.
Okay. And on your podcast, you guys, it's All the Smoke. You guys are known for smoking pot on your podcast. Yeah.
Sometimes. So it didn't start that way. So, my partner and I, just real quick, how it kind of started. We were both retired working for ESPN and Fox. And, I still work for ESPN to this day. And that's obviously a Disney company. And although I appreciate the opportunity, it's not 100% who I am. I can be that person. I can be in that lane, but I wanted to create something where I felt a little more comfortable, a little bit more laid back, and a little bit more relatable to our people. And came up with this idea, partnered with Showtime right off the rip. But we know Showtime at the time was just like, we can't smoke weed on TV. I'm just like, well, shit, our show's called All the Smoke. What the fuck you mean? Like, you can't smoke weed on TV. So, so the first season we didn't. But the first year of existence, we won Sports Podcast of the Year. So they gave us a little bit of leniency. So we kind of started sneaking it in here and there and with certain guests. And I think the first guest we were able to smoke with was Snoop, which is obviously very fitting. And then from there, we kind of just realized, okay, we can smoke, but we have to smoke with people that's okay. So obviously we have a Steph Curry or a Kevin Durant, they're current NBA players. We can't smoke with them. But if we have, like, we just had DJ Quick, the legendary DJ Quick, is an episode we literally just dropped yesterday. He's a music guy, and he wants to smoke. So we smoke with him. So we kind of pick and choose now who we smoke with. But I think the show All the Smoke, and that doesn't necessarily mean physically smoking. We wanted to bring you the heat. We wanted to bring you unfiltered, unscripted, real, raw conversations with some of your favorite people. And we've been very fortunate enough to be able to create an atmosphere where we get the best of the best and the biggest of the biggest. And, my goal has always been to humanize these people. Like, I'm fortunate enough to know these people, but I want to show, people, for example, rest in peace to my brother Kobe. I want to show people the other. I wanted to show him, not the mom, but I want to show him Kobe was the father, the businessman, that side. Everyone knows Snoop's a great rapper, but what is Snoop like as a grandfather now? What kind of business stuff is he doing? So on and so forth. So I just wanted to kind of show our fans the other side of some of their favorite people. And I think we've been very successful at doing that. And I'm having a good time doing it.
Who was the best interview you think you had?
Man, that's such a hard question. Obviously I'm going to say Cole because first of all, it was a great interview. It was supposed to be a 2-part interview. And then unfortunately, he passed, 2 weeks after the episode dropped. So Kobe was a great episode. Snoop was fun. Kevin Hart was fun. Jamie Foxx was fun. I mean, you name it, we've had them. I just think all of them are so unique in their own way. It's kind of hard to pinpoint like that one. I'm so fortunate to be able to do the things I do in my post career because I wasn't an NBA all-star. I was a role player. And I think the reason why I succeeded is because I realized that early on, like, you're not a star. All right, well, be the best role player. Be a star in your roles. Like, I was a star role player. And I think that my realness in the game was respected after the game. Now in the media space, it's so much about disrespecting and hot takes and trying to go viral. And I've just never been about that. I feel like if you know enough about a sport, you can have a quality conversation and within that conversation, you'll have some great moments. So I just think my realness from who I've always been has been accepted well in this
Mhm.
next phase of my life. And I'm able to have an award-winning podcast. I'm able to work for ESPN. I'm able to work for the Sacramento Kings and the Clippers. I'm able to start a whole network for cannabis users, and there's a lot of other cool stuff I'm doing. And I'm just so thankful to be giving the opportunities that I've been given, because sometimes guys that were stars don't even have the opportunities that I've had. So I'd never, never take any of that for granted.
You guys recently had Will Smith on. How was that? I
Awesome.
saw the episode. I thought it
Yeah.
was great. Obviously, I think a lot of people tuned in because they wanted to
Yeah.
see what he said about
Yeah.
the slap.
It was unfortunate because that was my first time meeting Will, and Will's someone when I first started the show, I was like, damn, we need to get someone like Will Smith. And then lo and behold, season 3, we're able to get Will Smith. But right from the jump, we shook hands, and he acted like we've known each other forever, which is such a dope energy and environment. And when I tell you, Will explained to a T what he was thinking, what he did after, and how he's been healing, it was unbelievable. But of course, the team didn't want that. It was too real. It was too real it was too real to be released. So unfortunately, we only got to show what everyone saw. But when I tell you, he gave us an in-depth encounter, step by step, from what he did from the time that happened, the what he read, where he traveled, who he talked to, who he leaned on. It was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. But unfortunately, we were kind of one of his first coming out interviews, because it was right before emancipation. And his team, his village, thought it was a little too real
Too much. Yeah.
to be released. So I have the unedited version, and I got a chance to watch that, and it was just like the whole narrative, the everything would be, if we got to show that. I don't really still think, I mean, obviously Chris Rock just did his special and talked about it, and probably that would have kept the energy going. But if we could have released what Will said when we had it on the show, I think it would have changed the narrative about what's going on right now. Because even after that episode, his team is just like, yo, Will's never opened up like that to anyone. He's never felt so comfortable. He's never spoke so freely. Thank you guys. They're like, it was almost like therapy for him. And we felt so special and honored for him to even, that's Will Smith, the A-list. I don't care how many people he slaps. It's the A-list, it's Will Smith. So we just felt fortunate enough to be able to, be there in the moment and experience the moment. And I guess that conversation was for the moment. But I just wish it was for the world, because I think it would really change a lot of people's opinion on what happened.
Yeah, it was obvious you guys had some great chemistry, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, just a few more questions.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you read the comments section of social media?
I do sometimes. And I have been someone known to fire back at times. But I just think, the more and more great opportunities that are coming my way, I realize it's just a test, and I have to allow people to have their opinions. Sometimes it's hard, especially when they're way off. But at the end of the day, their opinions aren't changing my blessings. They're not changing my day-to-day life. They're not changing the money I make. So I just have to allow people to have the misconceptions or the ideals about me or with the way I move, and come to the realization that's their problem, not mine.
How do you feel about the private lives of public figures? Do you, some people think that everything is fair game. Do you agree about that?
It just depends on what situation you put yourself in. And I don't ever try to make myself seem like I'm an A-list celebrity, because I'm not. I think probably at the best, I'm a C-list. But I also opened up my world in reality TV. And when I did that with my ex-wife back in 2009 or 10, it's never been the same since. And I don't even say it in a bad way, but it's just nothing has been private. Obviously, my divorce was very public. Anyone I dated after that was very public. But it also opened me up to a whole new side of viewership and people who don't necessarily know anything about sports. But I could still get people to this day coming up to me, women. Oh, I remember you from the reality show with you and your wife. And I was just like, oh, okay, that's what's up, man. I hope you enjoyed it. You know what I mean? So it wasn't all bad. It got me into wanting to create content. Obviously not content like that trash, but just quality content. But again, it just opened me up to a whole new eyes of viewers and more fans. So Private lives. We live in a world today where nothing is really private. You got to try to keep it private and keep it as sacred as you can. And if it is public, you're going to have to work that much harder. So I don't think there's any secret to, there's no secret recipe. We all know relationships are hard, whether they're public or private. But when they're public, it's a little harder. So, you just have to make sure you're on the same page with your partner and prioritize your mental health and your happiness and do the best you can.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And the last thing I wanted to mention was Athletes versus Cancer, your organization that you created for your mom. Will you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I started that organization the year after she passed, and I just didn't want anyone to go through what we had to go through. So in the past, we've done health clinics. We've provided information. We've paid for funerals, medication, hospice, you name it, just anything kind of related to cancer. It's kind of sat dormant for the last 3 years because I didn't really have a solid direction. But my team and I have been putting something together. So we want to kind of start a scholarship program for kids who beat cancer that want to move on to college. So I'm in the midst of developing that platform right now, and hopefully we'll be able to, you know, do some good with that.
Okay, great. And I think you have an event coming up, right? Wednesday, June 28th. You're going to be hosting a celebrity golf tournament at Pelican Hills Country Club. Is that right?
Yeah, so I teamed up with Boxing Wags, Deontay Wilder's wife, the former heavyweight champion, Kelli. They do an annual golf tournament. I went to it the first year. I used to go do a golf tournament with my event. So I just asked, you guys want to team up? And we've been able to team up. So right now we're just kind of getting the dirty work, trying to get sponsors, trying to get people, kind of the grind side of the event. But I'm excited about the event. I have no doubt that it'll be a successful event and it'll be for a great cause. So people be looking out. If you see this and you're in the California, LA area, I'll be posting information on it shortly and we would love to have you.
Great. Awesome. Thank you so much, Matt. I still appreciate